It all started with an ordinary document folder that happened to be in my hands. But what I discovered inside turned my life upside down. Get ready for a terrific story of wife cheating, hidden secrets, and dramatic twists of fate. Tayo. I want to tell my story in probably just one event. I am married for 5 years. We have a daughter who is 2 years old, looks like a normal, calm, and happy marriage. But in reality, it is far from that. No, I've known my wife since college. We have been together for 16 years. We have come a long way from a friendly relationship through brother and sister, the beak of 2 lovers, and already to the family. Unfortunately, the family is a mistake. It is simple. My wife cheated on me with my ex-boyfriend. She cheated when he went to work in another town. All secret gets out. And her sin also got out. And got out so very dirty and very ugly. I found my beloved's abortion papers. We were moving, and a box of her old things fell in front of me. It is difficult to describe the hell I experienced. It was like death of the soul. I lost my closest and most beloved person. Or rather, this man was nothing more than just my self-deception. In my head were terrible things, from the desire to find and finish him, and that she saw it, and to the desire to just end it all one step from the roof of a high-rise this step. I almost made first as all she tried to blame me then as all tears, pleas, remorse, and of course oaths of love, and that it will never happen again. The assurance that she is with it, and she herself cannot live it. Yes, suffered all this time. I did not believe her. I'm past, but it did not get easier. We lived like a barrel of gunpowder. Enough one spark and all. Explosion. I began to boil. The pain veiled my eyes. She rode and crawled on her feet. After a month I realized that is impossible, and she is suffering, and I will soon reach the grave. I decided to leave her. One night I packed everything, wished her happiness with someone else, and just left. I had to rent an apartment and was alone with myself to solve all my problems in my head and soul. At first, it seemed that everything works. I begin to withdraw from pain. But as soon as I saw a couple in love or a girl with a child in the street, the wild hell began. And if I had a gun, I probably would have shot myself in the head. Anything changed by chance? I had to come to his wife at her apartment. I'd wanted her to sign divorce papers. Like, when I saw my wife, I realized that it was not the right time for that. She was devastated, looked terrible, and was obviously depressed. I should have known because I went through this myself periodically. I was not out of depression, just had some moments, so to speak, lucidity or something. But in general, I gathered my wife that I came to get the tools for repairs. We talked a little bit, and he went back to my place. After 3 months we got back together, we tried to start over. My wife has changed a lot. Nothing left of her pride and character. She became just perfect. So much care and attention I have never received from her. For a while everything was fine. We even became closer to each other a little. Then my wife became pregnant and a daughter was born. I do not dote on the child and was probably the happiest man on earth. One night my wife and I were talking about her parents and their relationship, and that conversation made me think. I just realized that I do not love my wife. She is a stranger to me. Yes, we live together under one roof and we have a child. But we are strangers. A relationship is all an acting and self-deception. She plays the role of an ideal wife who loves her husband. But I know that all this deception, she does not love me, and I just turn a blind eye to everything and play along with her. I do not accuse her of anything. She is not a bad person. She just did not love me and does not love me. And now I do not love her either. And then some time passed, my wife and I once again talked about everything. It's about us, about the baby, about feelings for each other. This time without emotion and without tears, we decided what would be. We will try to make everything better. My lover's wife came to visit us. She found correspondence of my wife and her husband and something else. In general, she came to see the one who destroyed her family. She told my wife that she gives her husband and leaves with the children. By the way, they were 2, then slammed the door and left in tears. My wife walked around for 24 hours without raising her head and not dry from crying. I tried to calm down, but I was clearly not the man she would like to see. In the morning, she packed her things and said that she could not take it anymore, that she was too heavy burdened and she does not want to live like that anymore and cannot. She left the child to me, saying that I was a good father and left. I think she went to him, and so God be with them. That is how my marriage ended. It is strange, but I do not regret it. My mother-in-law called, said that my wife lives with them. My wife and I need to get back together. I think she went to him, and so God be with them. That is how my marriage ended. It is strange, but I do not regret it. My mother-in-law called, said that my wife lives with them. My wife and I need to get back together. My wife lives with them. My wife and I need to get back together. I said nothing. I said it was too late. Gradually, everything is getting better. I'm engaged with a baby and quite happy with their lives. And his wife and her lover. I forgave and let go, as they say. I want to take this opportunity to ask you if you think I should start a new relationship. One way or another, my daughter will live with me. And yes, I would be willing to let a new person into my heart. But will not the child be an obstacle in the new family? It may be not necessary. I would be grateful for your advice. Dear listeners, now move on to the second story. Today, I will tell you a story that will pierce your heart and leave you speechless. The beloved wife, outwardly so perfect, found herself caught in the act. Get ready for an amazing adultery story that will leave you in shock and ask a lot of questions about fidelity and destiny. Good afternoon, everyone. I am 33, wife 30, son 5 years old. We 13 together, 7 years of friendship, 6 legally married. During our friendship, she was running after me, looking into my eyes. I was her first man, by the way. To be honest, I did not have any special feelings that would blow my mind. I married more out of habit, married a nice, beautiful girl who, after marriage, turned into a vampire. The first 3 years of life together were just hell on earth. Almost daily scandals, not without the help of her mother, who stuck her nose wherever possible. Sex too, on the other maximum 3 times a month. Think about 3 years ago, went to my mom with all my stuff, even the furniture, though only for 3 days. After that, life became more or less normal and sexually, and scandals less. And the material component to the family is 146 for the 250 hours a month at the main job. Plus, of course, as without it, part-time, I moonlight on repairs, then before and after the night shift. Last year, I bought her a foreign car, now on business. Now we both work at the same large enterprise. We work in shifts, but on different crews and in different areas. At the beginning of August, she started to tell me personally that one young man started to pay attention to her. This man works in a related organization, then jokes, then offers to help, although their work is in no way connected. They work meters away from each other. He was also described as a model married, but they cannot have children. She told him that he drove her home in his car from work, and the next day she drove to work with him in his car. In addition, it turned out that this horse also lives not far from us. I said it would be the first and last time, to which I received the answer, okay, no more. Then stories about him somehow abruptly stop, and my wife had this change. She stopped nagging me, picked up a lot of bright things. At home, she sat with a look, such hovering in the clouds. At work, she started dressing up and putting on makeup, as if she were going to a restaurant. One night in bed, she asked me verbatim, if one person has to go to the left, the other will not know about it, to which I said that listen, honey, all the secret sooner or later becomes clear, and that everyone knows. The next night, I asked her right up front, putting the question like this, swear on your child's life that you never cheated on me. And in response, for some reason, there was silence. Then about 5 minutes later, she came up to me and swore on our child that she'd never had anyone but me, and I had exactly since lost peace, took a detail from her number and found a cognate. And in the notebook, it was scored under a female name. He called her during the week once or twice per shift, and once on the day off. During the conversation, I asked who was listed in the notebook and why he called her. She long denied until I showed the details, said that they exchanged telephone numbers for work moments, although, as I said, their work is in no way connected. And under a woman's name. Why? So it's simple, it's that I end all the brains like a blow. That swore by everything I could, that there is nothing and cannot be. He has a family and generally 3 children. At that time, friends, I had no sleep for 4 days. I kinda believed her, kinda believed that nothing happened and the whole family. We went on vacation at sea for a month. Already at sea, I realized that I began to have a full-fledged neurosis with all the ensuing insomnia, irritability, vegetosvascular dystonia, also increased sweating, and in addition to reduced potency. After returning from vacation, I learned from the good people at her work that almost all of August, in her free time, she was not at work and with him chatted on the bench, on the street, and a couple of times drove him to work in his car. Good people are the very same and said, just one crazy girl, family child, and communicate with some trash, came home and made a scandal. She of course denied everything, and I could not, unfortunately, turn in their informants. In general, when she went to work, everything continued and rise to work and calls, although Artie began to scramble and also brazenly lying that no, there is none of this. All divorce, then why continued this communication after leave, even though she knew about my problems with sleep and health? I admit that there was no physical adultery, but all this deception and betrayal of children by his mother is unbearable. How can you live without trust? I quietly offer her a divorce. I am 90 in favor of a divorce. She, in turn, begs not to destroy the family and not to leave the child without a father, although I warned her about it in advance. I am even ready to take a lie detector test to prove that there was no kissing and certainly no sex. I have a number of very important questions for you. How can you trust a lie detector, especially if it turns out to be accurate? What will prevent her from doing it after him? Also, how do I get rid of my neurosis? There seem to be no competent therapists in our city. I read that the first thing to do to get rid of the cause of neurosis is to address the cause, which turns out to be my wife. And the last question, is it worth living together without love, but for the sake of the child? I've heard from her many times that she does not love me anymore, that her feelings are gone. I would greatly appreciate your help. Dear listeners, friends, thank you for watching this video and subscribing to the channel. Your likes and dislikes are the best signal for me that I'm doing this work for a reason. I wish you success, good luck, and lots of health, as well as peaceful family relationships.